It started with a flower bed. I'm not kidding. One moment I was trimming hedges outside our suburban home, the kind of place where people wave but don't really talk. And the next, my wife had a gun pointed at her face by a man with a clipboard and a badge that wasn't even real. But here's what he didn't know. My wife wears a real badge. Sheriff's Department. Yeah, let that sink in. The man, self-appointed enforcer of our HOA. You know the type. Cargo shorts, sunglasses at night, Napoleon complex wrapped in a volunteer title. He saw a flower bed that violated aesthetic uniformity and decided to threaten someone's life over it. But he picked the wrong woman. This wasn't about flowers. This was about power, control, people who think rules don't apply to them until they do. I froze. My wife didn't. Her hand drifted toward her belt. I won't spoil what happens yet, but no one saw it coming. Not him, not the HOA, not the neighborhood, and definitely not me, because this whole thing, it spiraled into fines, sabotage, secret recordings, and a neighborhood revolt. So buckle up. You're about to find out what happens when a petty tyrant plays cop and points his plastic authority at the actual sheriff. 3 weeks before all this, life was calm. We'd just moved into Willow Oaks, a gated community wrapped in white fences and passive-aggressive newsletters. I thought the HOA rules were funny at first. Trash cans must be hidden by 6 p.m. Grass must remain between 2 and 4 inches. Sitcom stuff. Then we met Ron, HOA compliance officer. Not elected, not official, just appeared. Vest, clipboard, laminated badge from Party City, and the swagger of someone who binges cop shows. First it was our mailbox, non-standard. My wife laughed. It's the same as our neighbors. Ron didn't. Then came a $75 fine. No photo, no appeal info. The next day, our recycling bin was knocked over. Porch cam? Unplugged. Coincidence, I said. My wife, not so sure. A week later, another violation. Unapproved flora. Our daughter's sunflowers. For a school project. That's when my wife started documenting everything. She's dealt with people like Ron, just not in cul-de-sacs. Then came the shouting Ron, 6:45 a.m., yelling about civil codes while our kid got into the car. My wife muttered, he's escalating. We're not even close to the real problem yet. She was right. Because the gun? That came later. Over the next 2 weeks, it got ridiculous. Fines for visible hoses, unauthorized holiday decor. In May, my wife put a rubber duck on the mailbox just to mess with him. He fined us. Sprinklers. Water code violation. We don't even have sprinklers. Ron started inspecting our fence with a tape measure. Installed motion lights aimed at our yard. One night I caught him with a drone outside our bathroom window. No joke, we filed complaints. The board? Silent. Turns out Ron was the board. My wife stayed calm. I didn't. Then came the final straw. Our mailbox was smashed. A typed note taped to it. Final warning. Your behavior is under review. I looked up. Ron was watching from his porch, smiling. Next day, we went for a walk, harmless, until Ron pulled up, jumped out and shouted, "You think you're above the rules?" My wife stepped in front of our daughter. "Sir, you need to calm down." That's when he pulled the gun from his waistband, aimed it. "I'm authorized," he said. My wife didn't blink. She slowly held up her ID. "You just committed a felony?" Ron blinked. "You're under arrest," she said. "Turn around now." And that's when everything flipped. Ron was detained, of course. The gun, unregistered. And he wasn't just a jerk. He was a criminal. But my wife had a plan. She gathered everything, security footage, violation logs, emails, HOA comparisons, patterns of harassment. Then she went to the county. Turns out Ron wasn't legally anything. No vote, no records. His board was him and 2 buddies. One didn't even live there. The neighbors started waking up. "Wait, we got fined for our gnomes." He threatened me about shutters, one after another, dominoes. So she held a community meeting, off duty but in charge, explained the bylaws, election rules, financial transparency. She brought cookies. By the end, the community voted to dissolve the current board and set up a temporary committee, with her leading it. Ron, charged with brandishing a weapon, impersonating an officer, and harassment. But poetic justice? That came later. We installed a new mailbox, bright pink, with hand-painted sunflowers, for our daughter. Ron's house went up for sale 2 weeks later. He needed HOA approval to change the paint color. Guess who signed the form? Final confrontation wasn't in court. It was the street. Ron came back, briefly. legally allowed to get his stuff. He walked like nothing happened. Neighbors froze. My wife stood on the porch, arms folded. He muttered, "I hope you're happy." She said, "I am." "You're not." Then handed him an envelope. Cease and desist. From the new HOA, trespassing notice, revoked privileges. "Oh, and Ron," she added, "next time you impersonate an officer, don't do it in front of one." He opened his mouth. "Shut it," walked away. Neighbors clapped. I'm not exaggerating. It was like a movie. Our pink mailbox gleamed. Our daughter added a toy sheriff star to the post. Ron glared at it as he drove off. Never seen again. 6 months later, peace. The HOA is actually helpful, transparent. Sunflowers bloom every spring. My wife still wears her badge, but now everyone knows what it means. Ron moved downtown. No HOA, but plenty of noise complaints. What's the takeaway? Power doesn't come from clipboards or petty fines. It comes from integrity. And justice? It always shows up, usually in a beige cruiser. Sometimes driven by your wife. Never underestimate the calm one in the room, the one who listens, the one who takes notes. They're usually the one with the plan. And if you ever feel like pulling a gun over a mailbox, make sure it's not pointed at the actual sheriff. What would you have done? Drop a comment. And if you made it this far, comment "Justice served," so I know you're one of the real ones. Got a crazy HOA story? Tell me. I might tell your story next. Like, subscribe, and remember, be nice to your neighbors, especially the ones with badges.